Ladies and gentlemen, we all know what happened to Mahogany Jackson, and we covered what happened to Mahogany Jackson from beginning to end in the last 24 hours of her life before those fake friends ultimately unalived her. Now, in that video, we spoke about how the mother indirectly played a pivotal role in the things that happened or actually set the train in motion for what happened to Mahogany Jackson. Now, people in the comment section, and one person in particular who went in the comment section was the neighbor of Mahogany Jackson. She came and defended the mother and said, the mother, I'm paraphrasing here. She basically said the mother tried the best that she can do. Mahogany Jackson put her hands on her mother. She called the cops and she made the best decision she thought because she looked at it as I'd rather my daughter in jail or out in the streets or whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, she felt she was making the best decision because Mahogany Jackson was very difficult to work with as a child. So I'm paraphrasing, but that's in a nutshell what she was saying. Now, we did extend the invitation to her to come on the show to give us, all the details that she may know so that we can be up to date and informed about what happened with Mahogany Jackson and her mother. But with that being said, I still wholeheartedly feel that the mother played an intricate role in the events that led to Mahogany Jackson's death.
Wait, why?
Why do I feel like she do?
Yeah.
Because I feel as though she abandoned and gave up on her child. I don't believe that a parent should give up on their child.
Even
Like
if
I
they put their hands on
wholeheartedly
you?
You said even if they put their hands on you?
Yeah.
If they put their hands on me, like we're gonna shoot the fair one, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to put it like this. If I know that me calling the cops is gonna get you evicted or make your living situation that much more crazy,
Mhm.
especially if I have the best interests of keeping you from, getting unalived, I would make a conscious decision to know that if I put you in a corner where you have no place to stay, and on top of that, you can't stay in my house, I would make a conscious decision of not getting the cops involved.
I
Now,
dig that.
I can possibly just leave the house, walk away, and I'm done with you. But if I know for a fact I call the police, you're gonna get evicted, or it's a good chance you'll get evicted, and now you have nowhere to go, then what does that do for me? What does that say about me coming out saying, oh, I'm trying to look for the best interest of my child? Am I really at that point?
Okay, but think about it though, right? This is my child, yes, but you've already had a child. So realistically, you're an adult at this point. So why do I have to still kid glove you if you want to do what you want to do? You want to go, you want to fight me, you want to come at me over every little thing. Why do I have to keep trying to champion for you because you're my child at this point? Because
Mm.
realistically, you're an adult. You're making adult decisions and you have to live by those choices.
Mm.
All right. So then, if that's the case, why come in my presence if that's how you feel? If you feel that strong, if I feel that strong about my child that I want nothing to do with, why would I go to their house in their presence knowing that we don't get along? So if I go over there knowing this, then I should have the wherewithal to understand what might come with it, especially if we're talking about a history of how this child that she has came to be. We're talking, there's rumors or speculations or allegedly that her child is her stepdad's child.
Mm.
And she signed the birth certificate. So it's not like I'm oblivious as a parent to all the things that was going on in our history. So with all that
Oh.
knowledge of that history, and then I go in the presence and I incite the person, or not even incite them, because Mahogany said herself that she was selling the food stamps. So me as a parent doing that disservice, I actually added gas to the fire with my actions.
But
You think
And
maybe
that
I
then
was
I
was
go tell
intentional?
the cops.
bringing you your child. Maybe your child wanted to see you. Maybe you called me and said, "Hey, I want to see my child." Because think about it, realistically, yes, you're the mother of this child, but if I'm the parent and I signed the birth certificate, that means it's really no longer your child. Maybe it was the goodness out of my heart that I was allowing you to see this kid. So maybe
Yeah.
that's realistically how the circumstance happened. Maybe I brought you your child because you called me asking to see your child. Now, who's the bad guy? Because it's not me. It's me doing what you're asking me to do. And then I get there and then I still got to worry about you being in my face.
Okay, but let's look at it from and we don't know the events that happened in that house, but let's look at it from us in a strategic perspective. You're my parent. I come to you and tell you, stop selling my food stamps. If I feel like I'm in a position of power that I have control over you, I'm gonna backtalk like that parent is gonna backtalk to them and look down upon them. So if I'm telling you stop selling my food stamps and you feel emboldened to think you have a power over me and you backtalk like I'm not doing a thing or whatever the case may be, that's the only way I can see the situation evolving into a fisticuffs. Because I promise you, if my child tell me, yo, dad, stop selling my food stamps, and I'm like, you know what, I was wrong, I'm gonna stop doing it. The only way things will transpire is if I'm like, you don't tell me to do nothing. I'm the one that raised you. I basically put clothes on your back. I earned that money. That's my money. Yada yada. If I start throwing that weight and my child needs that money for whatever reason to keep a roof over their head, to feed themselves, why would it not evolve into a fisticuff? So again, you have to play a specific role to make it escalate to that level.
Did she live there though? Like, did Mahogany live with her moms?
Mahogany did in the past, but the mother kicked her out.
And she
That's
was
how
selling
she
the
got to
food
the house
stamps
in
after?
Chester. Huh?
She was selling the food stamps after she already kicked her out?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Because I was gonna
So
say maybe she
because
owe her money or something. Because we don't know that though. We don't know if she owed the mother money. We don't know what's going on. It's just stop selling my food stamp. What if you owe me $2,000 and I need my $2,000? Should I not sell you food stamps?
that's a
I
good
shouldn't.
point. That's a good point. But if that was the case, with everything that's alleged, I'm pretty sure that would have came out. But that is a fair point.
True.
That could be a family dilemma that we don't know about. But what I'm saying is, I still have to ultimately blame the mother because you knew calling the cops is a good possibility that she'll get evicted. And then somebody else in the comment was saying that, hey, I live in these type of housing developments. In order for them to know, somebody would have to call, the governing body of whatever apartment complex. So that tells me somebody could have called. Now, I know June, you probably was thinking like, hey, what if it's not the mother? What if it's somebody else or whatever? Like, am I hitting the ballpark?
It could be. Like,
Like,
I'm not trying, a neighbor, I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying it could be anybody. A neighbor could call. Like, no, like if I see you
that's
put your hands on your mom's, I could feel like, nah, you wildin'. Pick up the phone, hey, excuse me, blah, 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 blah. Like, I know she do this, I know she do, like, it could be anybody.
that's a fair
But
point.
but
Go
think
ahead.
about it. The other side is too, what happens if it was happening during business hours and somebody was in the management office? Think about it. Some of these complexes have management offices that work at
Yeah.
8 to 5. So if this happened between a 8 to 5 and maybe the unit is not too far away from the office, that means they didn't seen the cop cars come in. I could have been outside on my smoke break and I could
That's
have saw everything happen. So that's what I'm saying. With that kind of circumstance, it's too many moving parts on how it was notified. But yes, you have to believe it was going to get notified.
Yeah, but it still ultimately come down to the mom called the cop.
Okay,
That's
yeah,
what it
true.
come down to. That the mother called the cop. So I still gotta blame her because, like I said, if I'm a parent and I know, because all the things that the mother is saying is she wanted to put her daughter in the best position to escape the life in Birmingham. So if that's what you're saying, and then you call the cops, which will put her in a position to lose the housing. Like, why not just walk out the house and say, you know what? You will never see your child again, and you're dead to me at this point. Like, I would have been fine with that.
But when are you allowed as a parent to call the cops if you believe the cops can help you. Like you getting in trouble, you getting that smack can make you do better. Like when do we call the cops on our kids? If our kids is out here beating us, our kids are out here doing craziness, sleeping with our husbands or whatever. Like when are we allowed to call the cops on this person who is a seems like a demon child? I'm not saying she is, but it seemed like she could be.
Here's the thing. If she
They're
knows
gonna
that
hate me.
Mahogany is a demon child, as you want to say, right? And I'm not saying that you're saying that, but I'm just saying, like, if that was her perspective of Mahogany, right?
Yeah.
If you know all this stuff and she wanted to see her daughter, drop the daughter off and keep it pushing.
But see, you gonna be mad at me for that. I'm not dropping my child off because technically it's not your child. It's
Nope.
my child.
Yes.
As the mom, I signed the birth certificate. It is my child. That means at one point in time or another, you gave
See,
up your parental
see,
rights.
see,
So
see.
therefore,
That speaks to me of bad parenting. Because
How?
for
but it's
me,
not bad parenting though.
for me to take my child's child and then hold a flex move of saying, yo, this is my child, you're not. No.
Cause in the last video you said she was busting looks and all of that. So if that was going on, I'm supposed to drop off this kid to
Yes,
your
but when
house?
she went to Jasper, she
Nah.
was doing better. She had a job and everything at Walmart. She had a job. She was doing better
For how long though? Was that
when
like
she was in Jasper
but how long was she in Jasper?
for 3 years.
Okay, all right, then she was
You
doing
see what
better
I'm
than
saying?
that's
She
kind of
was doing
grimy.
better.
That's grimy.
The neighbor fell back from being cool with her after the altercation took place with her mother.
Mhm.
And the neighbor has kids. So the neighbor having Mahogany around her kids and stuff, that means that she's doing better. She wasn't on that path. That's what I'm saying. Me as a parent to do that to my child, yo, I don't know. Maybe it's the Caribbean in me because
That's
June, you
what it
can speak
is.
on it. Caribbean parents, we do not give up on our children.
No matter what.
And here's the thing. This is something I will say, and a lot of people may get upset at me for saying it, but you got to look at it. Black Caribbeans fought for their freedom. We know to fight to the end for whatever it is that we believe in. And it's sorry to say, but Black Americans don't have that instilled in them. Just look at it. They didn't fight for their freedom in slavery. Slave freedom was granted to them. So I understand when you don't know your identity or your true history, that dynamic can be stripped away from you. But I'm just speaking as a Caribbean Black man, we are instilled to never give up. And that includes in our kids. So when I see this, I cannot say that I can't blame the mother because you never should have gave up on that child. And I stand firm by that.
Yo, I agree now. He's right, yo.
I like I said, I agree with what you're saying, but you have to think about the logic here, right? When
Mhm.
you grow up in the States, the biggest thing for a long time is when you're 18, you can get out my house. When you're 18, you're an adult. The problem is when you start thinking about it over the years, you keep seeing laws are changing because kids legitly at 18 are really not grown-ups. Their
Absolutely
brains are
not.
really not fully developed. But
Mm-mm.
that was the logic. It was just as long as I get you through high school, I ain't got to deal with you no more. You can go
Wow.
ahead about your business. So if you grow up with that mindset of you're 18, you're grown, you can go do whatever you want to do because at that point my hands is washed. That's the logic. And I get it. For most people, it is not the hey, you're 18 and you're done. But that was what was being prophesized for the longest.
I know that. I know that. And I understand that. That is exactly why I said what I said. But at the end of the day, your job as a parent is to do whatever you can do to provide for your child because you know what it comes down
It's
to?
a fact.
The planning of having that child was up to you. That child had no say in coming into this world whatsoever.
That's
So
true.
if you decided as a parent, I'm going to have this child, it is your job to do whatever it is you have to do to make sure that that child make it and not give up on that child. Now, if we live in a world where children can say, hey, you and you, I want y'all to come together and have me, you got me there. But they have absolutely no say on the matter. So if you make that conscious decision to say, I want a child, then you better suck it up and make that contradiction to make that or have that understanding to accept everything that comes with having a child. So again, nothing anybody can say to me will make me say, yo, she failed that child under those circumstances. Under those circumstances. Because I could understand as a parent, you try to do what you want to do, like you try to do what you got to do, and the kid sneaks and do whatever. I'm not talking about those circumstances. I'm talking about this particular circumstances and the chain of events of what happened.
But think about it, right? You're t- you're telling me she already had a kid. So that means you had a kid, what, about 17 years old to be a 3-year-old at 20. That means in our eyes at this point, you're an adult. Think
But
about it.
Erica P,
For you to get
Erica P,
benefits on
Erica
your
P.
own,
Okay, go
you
ahead.
have to be an adult or you have to have a child to set that chain of event. So that's already a chain of event. One. Two, like I said, I don't know what transpired for them to see each other for that big blowout to happen, but we do know it was allegations that she put her hands on her mother. So, me being the mom, you put your hands on me. If I choose not to put my hands back on you, the next best thing is to call the cops on you.
Erica
So,
P.
yes, you signed up for that because guess what? You decided you wanted to put your hands on me. I decided I don't want to put my hands back in front of my grandbaby, in front of all of these other people outside who could see what's going on. So, the best thing for me to do was, hey, come get her.
Erica
You
P.
can't blame that. You can't blame every circumstance after that on me, though. You
I can
can't.
blame the mother. You know why I can blame the mother? Because you answer me this. What mother and is gonna let an alleged, this is alleged, their fiance grape their daughter and then kick the daughter out of the house? Who is gonna do that? You don't know what kind of mental lapse or mental breakdown that will have for that child to say, yo, you let this individual do this to me and then you kick me out? What kind of animosity do you think that child is going to have? Why do you think that child was bold enough to actually put their hands on her? Why? Because you failed that child. You chose this person over me
Yes.
after what they did to me. So no, you're not guilty. You keep saying,
Good
oh,
point.
XYZ, but she started this direction of the relationship that she has with her child. She chose a man over her child after this man alleged raped her and kicked her out. Nothing you can say to me is going to make me think this mother is innocent. Absolutely nothing. As a mother, would you take that position?
Me as a mother, no.
Exactly.
But do I
Let
know
me
the
ask you
full?
this
Do
too.
I
Let
know
me
the
ask
full story? I might
But
not
let me
know
ask
it.
you this too. Like I said, this is all alleged. We're going off base of what's alleged. If you was in Mahogany's shoes and your mother's boyfriend raped you and you got kicked out of the house, how would you feel about your mother?
Guess what? There would be no interactions whatsoever at that point.
If she has your kid?
But she has your child now. She
But
has your
guess
child.
what? If you're telling me that my child is a product of me being an ARD, I might not want that kid either.
Yeah, but you might not want it. But when you give birth and the child is in your hand, that's a
It's
whole different
different.
dynamic, especially after going through 9 months of carrying the child. You don't know that.
But think about it though. It is a constant reminder that I was ARD.
Yes. But you had
So
the kid too.
correct. But guess what? Remember, we're in areas now that no longer we're giving people abortions or pills or anything else.
That
Maybe when I found out about it, it was too far gone.
understandable. But the
Good. Good
bottom
point.
line is she did keep the child. That's what it comes down to. And she did want a connection with her child. So what I'm saying is at the end of the day, The mother failed her at that point.
Correct. Yes,
So
I
we
will agree
can't
with
so we
I
can't
can agree
say
with you
so
there.
so we can't say, "Oh, this was just a fisticuff and was being disrespectful to Mahogany." No. That mother, if all this is alleged true, because it's all alleged, that mother started that path. And people
Then
are saying,
yeah.
"Well, Mahogany was violent, this, that, and why wouldn't she?
I'm about to say at this point I probably
Why
would be
wouldn't she?
violent.
Why
Why wouldn't
not?
she? With everything that she went through."
Because
Yeah.
think
So,
about it, if you're telling me my family failed me,
Mm-hmm.
meaning my mother failed me, I don't know what the circumstances with the father. You're telling me my child is a potential product of an R situation. I'm
Mm-hmm.
mhm,
sorry. That's going to be a hard life to live. And you're right. Everything that happened going forward, I will be blaming the mom because guess what? You're supposed to be the person that protects me. You're supposed to
Yes.
be the one that is supposed to be my champion. And unfortunately,
Yes.
you're not being my champion. You're not. You left me to go by the wayside because I was a problem child or because I didn't want to listen or I was being defiant. But guess what? I'm a child who is probably doing everything else that the teenagers around me are doing,
mhm,
but you're not seeing these are call for helps. This is, hey, maybe I want some attention. Maybe I need you to believe me and not believe everybody else going around me. So yes, you are right. These are all things that the mom triggered.
Mm-hmm.
now
And
now
there's really
June,
no coming back for that because if your own family is doing this to you, where do I get help from?
Who can you
Because
trust?
obvious who can
yeah,
I trust?
You
Because
can't.
obviously the friends that I chose weren't friends to trust either. But I'm only
Exactly.
going based off of the examples that I had. So, like a mom like I had, like the dad that I had, like the stepdad supposedly that I had. If these are all things that are deemed what are supposed to be teaching me how to become that member of society,
Yeah, no chance.
technically they all
Yeah.
failed.
Hey Walls, that first video, when I
mhm,
watched it, I just seen how emotional you was when you was speaking, and it looked like it touched you.
yeah,
And me knowing you have daughters and you're very involved, you love setting things up for them, you just
yeah.
love that family unit. How did you feel as a father of daughters, even hearing, reading, listening, watching this situation between Mahogany and those dirt bags who did what they
Yeah.
did to her?
See, and shout out to you because you're the one who sent me the article on Mahogany Jackson. And after I read that article, like it sent chills up my spine where I had like the butterfly feelings in my stomach because what came to mind was, what if this happened to my daughters?
Mm,
What if this happened to my daughters? And you know what then crossed my mind? What crossed my mind was all the times like my daughters come to me, "Hey, dad, can you do XYZ?" And I'm like, "Yo, I don't have the time," or I say I'll do it later and don't do it later.
mm.
They're asking for my time and I'm too busy to give them that time. Those are the things that push a child to look for other means for their attention. And that's like, dag, as a dad, I'm failing. And I looked at it as this girl was failed because even when you listen to the neighbor was like she was looking for attention. So that could happen to any one of us because let's face it, man, when it comes to us working, doing all these things, we be too tired. As much as we want to be involved in our kids' lives, we be too tired to do things, which makes the kids look for other means of attention.
Yes.
So as parents, we got to do better. And just thinking what she went through, oh my God, if that was my daughter, I don't know how I would probably lose it. Like
Would you
I
get
would
locked up?
never be the same. I
But
would
would you get
never,
locked up?
you know what? I probably wouldn't be in the right state of mind, and it's a good possibility. It is a good possibility. I wouldn't put anything past it because, like I said, man, it just felt like a knife to the gut or something, the way that like it just hits. And I
So
think that's
mm,
why a lot of people are so
that's
passionate
tough.
about it because it's like, yo, I understand it. I get it. So yeah, man, it just hit so hard because I would never want anybody close to me to go through that. I wouldn't even want my worst enemy to go through anything like that. So yeah, it hit hard. And as a father, I don't think no father would want their daughter to experience anything like that. So that's
Don't
why it hit hard. And I felt I needed to get this story out. Like soon as I read it, I was like, I need to work on this video. I need to understand the why and
that's
everything that
good.
happened. So that is why I was so passionate about that video. And not for nothing, even when me and Erica P was talking about it, and she did like she wasn't as passionate as me, we got into it a little bit because I'm like, yo, as passionate as I am, like this should enrage you, you know? So it got me ticked off for that reason because I am a dad and have daughters. And like I said, I don't want them to ever experience that. And it kind of checked me where it's like, hey, I'm going to give them the attention that they need and that they ask for. I'm going to make that extra effort to do so.
See, thank you for sharing that. First off, me, I'm not even a father of a daughter. I have nieces, I have sisters. Eric, like we know females, and for
Yeah.
that to happen for 24 hours getting tortured, yo, I can't even imagine. And they were her friends.
Yeah.
You remember when we were talking and you was like, when she got up, I forgot what you said, like she knew, I think you said she knew it was gonna end or something. It was either
Yeah.
you or a
Yeah.
comment, like
Yeah.
she knew it was
Yeah.
a wrap. And it's
Yep.
like,
Yep.
I don't know,
Yep.
man. Erica, did we talk about how you felt as far as a mother of a daughter, a woman, a female? Like, how did you feel? Did we talk about that?
We didn't, but I'm gonna throw it out there. When I first heard the story, I thought it was foolery at its best. Like, and I'm not saying it to be mean. I just felt that it was another story that you hear. Like, that's legitly what I felt at first. And then after I started looking into it a little bit more, then I was like, oh, wait a minute. This more than just what I thought it was. Because when you hear it without looking into the circumstance, you don't know what to think. You just think it's another news story. But then when you start thinking about it, you're like, wait, these are people that she knew.
Mm,
These are people that was fighting her. But then it's like, okay, but if you, I guess it's sad because it's like if you grow up with that fight mentality, at first it was like, oh, it's just another fight. But then it's like, wait, it was a fight. Then it translated to her being forced into doing stuff that she didn't want to do. Then you're telling me that people were R-ing her and they sodomized her. Then that's when the story for me changed because it's like, wait a minute. It's one thing if it's just females fighting. It's something completely different when you had females fighting her, you had guys taking advantage of her, and it's being recorded and passed around. So that means y'all doing it like it's a joke.
Let me
This
ask you
ain't a
this.
joke.
Let me ask you this. What if somebody sent you that video and it was your daughter?
duh.
Oh, they sent me the video and it's my daughter. I'm telling you now, I'm gonna see red. Like I'm not
Mm,
gonna know anything else but seeing red because I'm gonna be looking for everybody in the video.
exactly.
Everybody who had their hands on the video, I'm gonna be looking for them. Y'all can be like, uh, I don't think y'all gonna be able to bail me out because I really don't know where the stopping point is.
There is
Because at the end
none.
of the day,
Yeah.
my daughter is gone. So if my daughter is gone, I feel like everybody who I'm about to go look for is about to be some street justice. And I really don't condone that kind of stuff, but I feel like it would cause me to snap.
Now, let me just say this. You heard your response and the way you initially felt about the story, right? But after you heard about the story, how your response was, you have more passionate than the mom did. When I
Hmm.
see her give like when she spoke about the situations on the news outlets, you had more passionate than the mom did.
That is a problem for me. If I had more passion and I don't even know this person, but if it happened to my own child, Like, I feel like like, if it was my child, the mother should have been worse. That means
Exactly.
either, 1, you had washed your hands away from this child from the get-go.
She was dead to you.
So, because she was dead to you, at this point, it was like, okay, it's something that I knew that was gonna happen.
Oh
But
Because
at
wow.
the end of the day, it's like, as a parent, that you do not want to see yourself outlive your kid. Like, that's not a thing. Everybody that I have talked to who has outlived their child says that is the hardest thing for them to do, unless that child was sick and you knew it would put them in a better place.
I'm just gonna end it off with this, ladies and gentlemen. When the mom said she got the text and everything and she forwarded the information to the police, she said they called her in the morning and she was just chilling on the couch. Those were
The,
her exact words.
the mom?
She was just yes, she was just chilling on the couch, and that's when she got the call, and she's like, "Oh, where's my child? This, that, and the third." But hey, like I said, no dad would want any of their children, especially their daughter, experience this. But on the other hand, Mayweather seemed to think that he wouldn't mind if this happened to his daughter. So click this card right here that just popped out if you want to see the details on what Mayweather said.
It's a matter of opinion.